Okay, so here we have Draculaura's Scary Tales doll of Snowbite. So the only one that we need now is Claudine Wolf's Little Dead Riding Wolf. So it says Monster High up at the top. On the American one it said A Monster High Story. So then we have the design down the side and the Draculaura thing in its little page, the little bookmark ribbons. I wasn't sure if they were still called bookmarks, if they were the ribbons attached to the actual book itself. So it's all done to look like the cover of a fairy tale book. So we have the little corner designs with the skeletts. So if I turn it round, so on the side it tells us that it's Draculaura's Snowbite, and then we have the Monster High symbol, and then it just says Monster High up at the top. I'm pretty sure this is the side where it used to say Scary Tales, Scarily Ever After on that one. So then the top and the other side have page details. And then on the back, if this was the American box, we would have had a little script with a blurb, but we just have the many languages of Snowbite, and then a big picture of Draculaura on the box. And then we have Frankie's, but we need Claudine's. So this one is made in Indonesia, so hopefully we won't have any issues with glue hair. So we'll get her out and have a look at her on the back packaging. Okay, so to start off we have our generic instructions again. Completely useless. So on Draculaura's box, again we have this random circle that they're trying to pass off as the moon, which on the American box would have said once upon a time there was a girl who something. So we have our 3D trees again. Now Draculaura's forest is different from Frankie's, because if you remember, Frankie's had a Holt standing in a hill on the background, but Draculaura's has little apple trees behind the see-through stand there. So she has a plain black brush, but she has a see-through back of a stand, and then there's her little storybook with Draculaura's Snowbite written in many different languages. Unfortunately they've creased it up, which is a shame because I know this is the one that has Cleo in. So there she is standing in her little forest, and we'll get her out of the box and stand her up on her clear back stand. So here we have Draculaura's Snowbite Scary Tales outfit. So if we start from the top, as we usually do, I have to say I actually really like this version of hair on Draculaura. She does look better when there isn't quite so much pink in her hair. So all of the hair on Draculaura is pretty much black except for this one bit of pink just highlighting her at the back of her head. So her hair is held back with a skull apple clip in a translucent green colour. So her eye makeup is a kind of a yellowy green at the top and then lime green around her eye. And then the heart on her cheek has actually been edited to be a dripping apple, so that's the second time they've edited it. If you remember, they wrote 1600 in her Sweet 1600 one. So her earrings have been made to match her hair clip, so they're also translucent green skull apples. And then she's wearing a very dark purple coloured lipstick that looks pretty much black on this camera. Hopefully the colour does come up when I actually put it on the computer. So the necklace she's wearing, all I can assume that this is like vampire bites in her neck, which are dripping with what pretty much looks like the apple juice colour. So then the dress that she's wearing is an extremely puffy velvety green. So this part here is actually pretty solid, and I think it's supposed to be slightly more symmetrical than ours is, but I think it looks good asymmetrical anyway. So that's her big puffy sleeves and front part. I have to say it looks much better on the actual doll than it did in the promo art. We weren't really keen on it then. So then she has some little black seams down the front, and then a bow at the front which is white with more skirt apple prints, but this time in pink. And the bow actually is on a separate velcro at the back, so you can remove it should you want to. So then the bottom part of her dress is made to look again like the dripping apple. So it's the same green velvet as the top, but all cut into a kind of sideways dripping. And then in the space where there isn't any dripping on the pink part of her dress, we have more skelet apples in a metallic green print. And then we have masses and masses of black printed apples as well, mainly at the back. So we're not even going to attempt to find out how many of those apples there are. So underneath all of the skelet apples there is a jagged cut to the pink, and then she's wearing some black netting underneath. So then onto her shoes. Now continuing with the obvious skelet apple theme, the backs of her shoes are more skelet apples with a giant leaf coming off the back of her heel, and then the heels themselves are more translucent green dripping from the apples. And then the front of each shoe is a big pink bow, because where would Draculaura be without her big pink bows? So, black hairbrush, nobody cares about that. Again, we have a black stand with a clear backing, which probably is the best way to do stands. So the accessory that Draculaura came with is again a translucent green skelet apple. So the leaf is actually the handle, and if you open the front from the stalk, then you can open that. It falls open pretty easily, so it's probably best to try and keep Draculaura's hand in the way if you're going to get her to hold that. And then the book that she came with, obviously it's been Europeanized, the same as the Threaderella one was. So instead of having the poem, we just have the basic story in several different languages. So if we just pretty much show the pictures and explain a little bit. So we have Snowbite's introduction, and then Cleo is playing the jealous princess who's angry that Snowbite is prettier than she is. So she drinks a potion so that she can disguise herself and goes to visit Draculaura. But then Draculaura is so nice to her that she decides she's not going to give her the apple to make her ugly. And then she leaves all happy in her outfit that really needs to be made. So that's pretty much it for the Draculaura Scary Tales. Hopefully we'll be able to get hold of the Claudine Dead Riding Wolf soon. I know that there's been a bit of a lawsuit regarding the Scary Tales name, but hopefully they will still be selling them in Argos. So we'll try and get that soon and get back to you with the final review.